everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. Wednesday tonight, we had a trip to Victoria, which is about an hour and 10-15 minutes south of where I live. So it was a quick trip in and out. Did a little delivery on the way, but managed to get home in time to definitely do my live tonight, which was what I was hoping to be able to do. So Wednesday nights I jump on and share a technique with you. And so tonight I'm going to do I'm going to use an embossing folder. So it's a hybrid embossing folder, and it's part of the Happy Hibiscus bundle, which I absolutely love. So I'm going to do a little bit of coloring with it. I've done this before where you actually add some ink to the inside of the embossing folder. Hey Holly, welcome. I'm also going to add a little bit of Wink of Stella, see what that does. I've done it, played with it a little bit in a preparation for this. We'll see if we can get it just a little bit more fine-tuned on the live. I don't know if that's going to work, but it kind of adds a really cool, cool effect to the hibiscus flowers. So let me switch over to my desktop and we'll get started. All right. Light back, focus there. All right, so this is the Happy Hibiscus bundle, which is one of the new online exclusives that came out in November. So it is, of course, the stamp set and dies, and then a hybrid embossing folder. So if you've never played with hybrid embossing folders, they're my favorites because you can get that great embossed texture, but you can also cut it out at the same time using the die. So it's a 3D embossing folder, it's thick, and so this die fits in to the side that has not that, yeah, there we go, get it going right there, get it going around the right way. The side that's got the line on it, so the front, and you fit this in with the cutting edge facing up, and you just kind of keep placing it in until it almost clicks into place, and then won't move really easily. I mean, it will if you really kind of push on it. And then you put your paper on top of that. So you can do some, you can stamp your images and then cut them out, but you can also just cut them out and add some color to them, and that's what I was going to do today. Okay, so when you do this coloring, there's two ways to do it. You either color it on the side that has got the raised, and that way you'll get more solid color, or you color on the inside, and then I might get that mixed up. This is what I'm going to do, is I'm going to color on the inside. I'll show you what happens. When you color on the inside, you don't get as much of the color, so that's the side. If you color on this raised part, you're going to get more of a solid color. And then, I don't know if you can see the shimmer. Can you see that? That shimmer, maybe on this one, because I got a lot of it. So I added, once I had added the color to these this embossing folder with Pretty in Pink, I went and added a little bit of Wink of Stella. And this one I actually got a lot of Wink of Stella, so I moved the color around a fair amount, so it's a little more solid than say on this one where it managed to just kind of stay in the lines. Now let's see. There. Okay, so let's get started on the card, and then we'll do some more explaining as I go. Get my pieces, my bits and pieces out of the way. So I am using Pretty in Pink. So it's going to be a little bit monochromatic, but I'm adding some of the black and very vanilla check. It's called black and very vanilla check ribbon. And I thought it would just give that really nice kind of pop of some color. Get my pieces out of the way. Okay, so I've got a piece of cardstock that is 5.5 by 8.5, so we're going to score it at 4 1/4. And I'll use my embossing folder. Hey Connie, welcome. Hey Roberta, you made it home. All right, so I scored that in half, and we'll fold it into the mountain or the raised line and burnish that with my bone folder. Okay, now I went ahead and embossed. Isn't this an amazing texture that you get when you just emboss? So this is 3 3/4 by 5, and so I just embossed that. Oopsie. what happened to my... Oh dear, technical issue. Hang on for a second. I seem to have an issue with my camera. That's very weird. All right. As I was playing with my camera, I am going to close. No, I don't want to do that. Okay, let's see if I can start my camera up again. Goodness, never fails. There's always some kind of technical glitch. I will be right there as soon as I get my camera going again. It's wanting to connect. Let's see. I might have to go off and come on again if we can't get this going. It's kind of one of those ones. Talk amongst yourselves, because this is not working here. Let's see. Don't want that. Well, it's initializing. Okay. Hopefully that's... There we go. Oh, yay. Nothing like... It's like, Melva, stop playing with things. All right. You guys can let me know if you can actually see that. I can see it, so I'm hoping you guys can see it. All right, so this is 3 3/4 by 5, and I embossed it using that lovely embossing folder. All right, so let's do some coloring with the embossing folder. Put my pieces out so I don't get them. So as I said, I'm going to use my blending brush with some Pretty in Pink. And I am going to color the three flowers. So those are the 3 flowers, and you can check if you're not sure which flowers are going to be embossed and cut out. You can just kind of find the die and then put the die in. So it's these 3 flowers I want to actually color. So I'm just going to take my blending brush, excuse me, and apply a little bit of Pretty in Pink ink right on top. Yay! Those 3 flowers. All right, now I'll close that up. I've got 2 Wink of Stella markers here and a scrap piece of paper. First of all, I have to figure out which is the Wink of Stella that has Wink of Stella in it, because one is almost empty. Is that the one that's almost empty? Or is this? I think that's the one that's pretty much empty. Why can't I get Wink of Stella out of this? I did just before I went live, because that's how I did this. All right, let's try a different one. Oh, there we go. This has got Wink of Stella in it. Okay, so I'm going to just take and put a little bit of Wink of Stella on this piece of scrap there, paper. You don't need a lot. And then you can take an old, like a paintbrush or an old Wink of Stella. This is on the depression side. It's on the side with the line, Connie. So you don't need a lot. So this is an old Wink of Stella that's empty, or you can use a paintbrush. And I'm just going to take and pick up some of my Wink of Stella. So rather than putting it inside, like drop my Wink of Stella on the inside of that depression, I'm just going to color it using my old Wink of Stella pen that is now going to go in to the garbage because it is completely empty. Okay, and then you can lay your die cutting side up, get it into that so it kind of clicks in place like that. And then I've got a piece of basic white cardstock that I'm just going to lay right on top and that down. Now this, if I bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, holding that, I've got holding the die so it doesn't shift around. This goes on to the regular cutting platform, and then with plate number 4, which is what you would use for a 3D embossing folder. And then you run that through. And then the magic, hopefully. Ooh, very pale, but that's okay. Kind of a different look. So you can take that out. Put your die back before you lose it. My pieces of paper that have stuck. So you can see that I have got some very kind of pale flowers, as opposed to the flowers that I got when I did it before I came on live. But what you could do is, if you wanted a little bit more color, you can take and just add a little bit more Wink of Stella. You could even pick up, if you wanted to, a little bit more color off of your blending brush. Now my blending brush is going to have Wink of Stella on it. It's time for a wash. All right, and then just kind of move that around if you wanted to add some more color to your flowers. So this one's a little bit darker. So there we go. So if you decide you want them, because I kind of like the way that one turned out, and it's all about how much ink you add in to that depression. So I've got 6 flowers to choose from, so we can start putting our card together. So I cut this out of the Pretty in Pink. This is the one of the dies that comes with it, so I thought I would put that on, and I was going to arrange my flowers. It's hard to know what I like best. Which ones do I like best? All right, so this is what I'm thinking of doing. So it's a very monochromatic, because I even cut the leaves, which this is one of the dies, out of pink, just because I was in a pink mood. So that's how it's gonna go, and then I'm gonna put a black and cream check bow on it, but we do need to stamp a sentiment. So I'm gonna use this one. These images are at 75%. And they are 2-step stamping if you wanted to use the stamps as well, or instead of the way I've done it. It's just such a fun and so pretty bundle. So I'm going to stamp my sentiment that says, "Thanks for being so kind," in Pretty in Pink. So this is what one of the images looks like when you stamp it. This is one that I just cut out using an embossing folder and used my blending brush to add some color, just to so you get some idea of what they look like. Okay, so I'm going to use dimensionals. I think I've still got some here, yeah. And these are cut awfully small, which works for these little tiny flowers, but you need a lot of dimensionals when you're using the big flowers. Okay, so before I put these on, I'm going to take this ribbon and I'm gonna tie the bow on the left-hand side, so I want to make sure I leave. There we go. Hopefully that's enough. And we're gonna tie this right over here on the left side, and somewhere I have my tweezers, so that can hold that, and then turned upside down so I can figure out where those tails will go to. Oof, come on. I've got one tail here that is quite short. It's pulling through. I want to keep track of that tail. Let's take that out by now. Come on. Okay, let's just do this again. Okay, tonight's not my night for tying a bow. All right, let's just make sure I have enough of this. There we go. That might help. Okay, so now some nights just aren't the night for tying bows. And this seems to be one of them. There we go. Tack that through there. Phew. Okay, then I can fuss with this bow and make it as big or as small. I don't want a huge bow. I just wanted a little bit of different color to it. And now I can take and use my Stampin' Seal, wherever that is. So I hope I'm not just about out. There we go. I like to use Stampin' Seal, and I am just about out of Stampin' Seal. I am out of Stampin' Seal. All right, let's use tear and tape. So I like to use something fairly strong when I'm have got ribbon on the back. Usually when I've got an embossing folder, I do like to use my liquid glue because it gets into the nooks and crannies. But when I've used ribbon, I like to use something stronger that's going to hold that ribbon in place. So we've got a combination of Stampin' Seal and some tear and tape, and that should be good to hold this on, and I'll have to get a refill for my Stampin' Seal before I need it again. Never fails. Okay. Okay, so let's get that on. Pretty straight. There we go. I'll trim those tails for my there's my try to make sure I leave her if my sentiment's gonna go there, then we'll put that one there, and we'll put this one there. My sentiment's going to get moved over a little bit. I'm just going to put dimensionals down at the bottom, and then I'm going to use some liquid glue on the top so that because it's going to be on top of the flowers, which are already popped up like that. There we go. And we've got one little flower here, one of the tiny little flowers. Put that there. And then we'll use glue dots for these pink leaves. My leaves were a last minute thought, but I decided that I wanted it all to be pink except for the ribbons. So okay, and of course we need some embellishments. So again, I've got the In Color shimmer gems. They were still sitting out on my workspace from yesterday, so we'll use those. I love these; they're so pretty. And then I should have a piece of basic white that's 4 inches by 5 1/4, and let's take and put one of the flowers that I didn't use on the inside, since I cut 2 sets of them out. So if you've never played with coloring on the inside of your embossing folder with an ink pad or a blending brush, play with it, because you do get a bit of a different look to it depending on what side you do. And I'll just show you this as I was playing beforehand. So this is the Forever Plaid embossing folder. And so this, on this side, this, I have to remember, this is the one where I put the ink on the side that has the line, like I did here. And then on this side, I put the ink on the other side. I think that's the way it went. But depending on where you put your ink, you get a different look to it than you do on the other side. And so some work really well, regardless of which side you want, and some you would prefer one over the other. Here's another one. This one turned out really well. This is the Distressed Tile embossing folder. Again, I put the ink down on the side that has the line on it, and then put the paper over top and did it. And so you get that pretty color and get the ink inside. It makes it look even more distressed than it looks, and quite a different look than what you get if you just emboss it. So just play around with it and see what you get. And some, like I said, some embossing folders don't work so well as others. And so you have to kind of play around. A few years ago, maybe last year, there was an embossing folder with Christmas greetings all over it, sentiments. And I tried it and thought, oh, I'll be very clever and put the ink on one side or the other. And of course, the words were backwards. So you have to kind of watch what you're doing and think about it ahead of time, because I had no idea that I wasn't really thinking that the words would be backwards if I did it one way versus the other. But play, because you'll find some embossing folders that work really well, and then some that are, okay. But I thought that adding the Wink of Stella might just add a little bit to the hibiscus flowers. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me. Now, Saturday I will be live at 11 o'clock Pacific. Come join me. I'll make another project. Sunday I will not. I am helping out at a craft fair, not actually selling anything on Sunday, so I will be busy helping out. So come join me on Saturday at 11, and then I will be back on Monday with my Memory Keeping Monday at 6:30.